Blog Talk Radio.
The motherfucking saga continues.
Yo, what's up, world? It's badass thuggin' like I usually do, and you better turn it up, bust some speakers out, cause we off the motherfucking cuff. You dig how we do it? Dog Pound Gangsters 2000 and beyond. Bless.
What's up with it, John? Man, don't change that down. This your play apartment, the legendary Cocaine. And you tuned in live to Off the Cuff Radio. Better not touch that down. Wiggly.
Yeah, this is Cassidy, the hustler. And right now, you listening to the Guillotine. Show them the respect they deserve, man. Off the Cut Radio, man. Y'all already know how they doing it, man. I need y'all to stay tuned. They've been doing it for years, so show them the respect they deserve. And you heard it out of bars, mouth. Easy.
Keep it moving like this. Yo, this your boy Rampage. You're not rocking with the best. With Off the Cuff Radio. Classic. History. Fix your face to all you haters. We off the cuff, baby.
What's up, everybody? This your girl, Bonnie Dollars, the Queen of Trap, representing Crenshaw, and you are now tuned in with Off the Cuff Radio. What's up?
What's up, y'all? This is Miss Irresistible, giving a shout-out to the livest show on Friday nights, Off the Cuff Radio, and I'm live from the 704. Make sure y'all tune in for the blazing hot music.
What it ain't, what it do. Chili Chill from that original Lynch Mob. And Off the Cuff Radio, always where it's at on Friday nights. West, y'all.
Did you get my message? I just took your exit. We can go for hours, I'ma be there in a second. She just took a shower, I can't wait to see you naked. Tonight we getting wasted, so tonight we cannot waste it. You, the only thing that's on my mind. You, told me pull up, catch a vibe. True, so you know I'm coming through. Got 200 on the dash, speeding fast. I'm tryna get to you. I'm tryna get to you. I'm tryna get to you.
And you,
I'm tryna get to you.
You know that you just gotta give me 5 minutes. I'm coming through and running at 100 miles with it. You know that you really been on my mind heavy, and I know that we overdue. I need to vibe with you. You know that you just like wine, you so fine with it. I know your age, but I don't see no sign of it when I'm with you. I like to take my time with it, and you never give me no time limits. That's why I'm trying to get to you. Don't you get undressed yet? Just let me undress you. When I get outside, I text you. I'm trying to get soul to soul and flesh to flesh with you. I got plans, it's gonna be special. You the only thing that's on my schedule, but her schedule got 2 appointments. One for me to drop this dog, the other with a hairdresser. Once I knock a wig off.
You, the only thing that's on my mind. You, told me pull up, catch a vibe. True, so you know I'm coming through. Got 200 on the dash, speeding fast. I'm tryna get to you. I'm tryna get to you.
See the one, not the two. So tell me what it do. Baby, I hope that it ain't sharp weak. Laying next to you, chest to chest, I feel your heartbeat. She looking like Melina, I just hope she ain't got sharp teeth. Loud as and ride well, that's why I call her Harley. Just got off stage, you know when the club is through. Everybody standing around, asking what you gonna do. What happens next? I check my text, he asked me if I'm coming through. Baby, I can come to you, I say OTW. It's about to get nastier than Uncle Luke. Don't stop, pop and drop it like it's hot right out the boot. Shorty know that I'm the truth, my resume is living proof. I'm the best, no questions asked, nah, this ain't no interview. If I'm into you, I get the job done, I'ma finish you. And you can drink it all till I replenish you. And when it's through, if I don't come back too soon, she'll be miserable. But I can't come back too soon, sorry shorty, I must limit you. I go deep and turn that desert to a swimming pool. I let her hide inside my lap, she stay invincible. I try to kill it every time like she invincible. I'm in my prime, turn the cameras on, I'll deliver to you.
The only thing that's on my mind, you. Told me pull up, catch a vibe. True. So you know I'm coming through. Got 200 on the dash, speeding fast. I'm tryna get to you. 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 Did you get my message? I just took your essence. We can go for hours. I'm gonna see her in a second. She just took a shower. I can't wait to see you naked. Tonight we getting wasted, so tonight we cannot wait. You.
Oh yeah, here we are, back at episode 633, live and direct, off the cuff radio. I'm your host, King Eric, the Media Assassin, and this show is sponsored by Buddy Boy Entertainment, Screwball Radio, Da Vinci Clothing. Got my host T-Max with the facts on the line. What's good?
What it do, y'all? It's another tremendous Thursday on that outstanding fresh frequency of OTC. We are live and direct. Shout out to our co-host and spirit of Los Angeles Chinchilla, and of course DJ Sincere of Dirty Basement Radio up in New York City. We are locked, loaded, and ready to rock and pop with all the very best of hip-hop journalism with your favorite celebrities, artists, and everybody worldwide and beyond. Let's get it. King, tell everybody about our guest tonight.
Yes, sir, man. You know, reading on down to my notes, and I started reading a little bit more about this guy. He's an Iowa Music Award winner, Best Performance in 2022, and Lyricist of the Year in 2023. He's a talented lyricist and songwriter hailing from Cleveland, Ohio, and currently in Des Moines, Iowa. He has honed his craft as a wordsmith, creating thoughtful and emotional lyrics that resonate with his audience. Here to tell his story, to talk about his new visuals, new singles, possible tour dates. And big shout out to Angela for making this happen, even though we were supposed to have him on that last week, but this week we have him on. Let's all welcome Klazik, the Off the Cuff Radio, bro. What's good?
What's going on with you?
Off the Cuff Radio. How y'all doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Look, thank you for coming on. Yeah, man. Klazik, definitely your name in terms of composition and your sensibilities for doing such resonates and is appropriate. And you also come from a very distinguished lineage of Iowa in terms of two artists most notably, T-Boz of TLC and Tracy Spencer, who's from Waterloo, and T-Boz, who is also from Des Moines, Iowa as well. So you definitely have a foundation there as well.
Yeah, I just recently found out that T-Boz was from Des Moines. Also, the producer, Bangladesh, he's from Des Moines as well.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, definitely, who says Iowa, don't got a talent? And y'all are incredible with it, man. So before we get into the show, we got to ask you, are you Hawkeye or are you Cyclone? Which one?
Oh, man. Well, I'm an Iowa transplant. I've only been here for about 7 years. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, though, and but the most dominant team is the Hawkeyes,
Yeah, shout out to Kirk Ferentz and the boys at Iowa, man. And of course, home to St. Jude's Children's Hospital as well. They do great things for the kids. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, man. So shout out to them and helping the babies. Let's get it, man. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Oh, man, yeah. Well, as I mentioned just a couple seconds ago, I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, born and raised. I did a few years in the Navy, and that's how I ended up in Iowa. I lived in Virginia for over 10 years while I was in the Navy, and after had a couple babies with someone that's from here. So that's how I ended up in this area. And Yeah, man, I've been making music, making and recording original music and performing for over 20 years now. And now I got to update my bio because just this last Sunday I won the very first Adult Contemporary Hip Hop Award at the Iowa Music Awards. I know it's the first in Iowa. I think it's the first anywhere.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you definitely got an accolade. So you said you were in Virginia in the Navy, which is my state.
Yeah.
You know, what part of Hampton Roads?
Yeah. Is that T-Max talking?
Yes, it is.
All right. Yeah, I saw VA in your username. I was going to ask you about it. Yeah, I was down in Hampton Roads. I was stationed in Norfolk for 5 years, then 3 years in Virginia Beach, and then I got a lot of connections out there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, when you talk about you got Norfolk Amphibious Base, Oceana, all that, man. Yeah, Norfolk, Virginia has, our state, Hampton Roads, has the largest naval installation in the world. This is where it all,
right.
Where we get activated if something happens. Me being born in Norfolk myself definitely is definitely something. When you think about your journey, Klazik, and everything that you've achieved and accomplished from where you started and aspired, what does it mean in terms of you winning the award, and what is the genesis of your journey in terms of who inspired and influenced you in the moment you knew you wanted to do music?
Oh, yeah, that's easy, man. Well, as far as who I am now and winning the Adult Contemporary Hip Hop Award, this has given me the most clarity in who I am as an artist, even though I've been doing it for so long. I'm happy to represent and wave that flag for the changing and the evolution of hip hop as a genre, and finally, since everybody has celebrated Hip Hop 50, and that got people open to the idea of aging, a little more open to the conversation of aging in rap, because I'm 43 years old. So my inspirations, I was in high school in the 90s. So the artist that inspired me, my primary inspiration was Biggie. And then, I've been doing this all this time and taking it seriously and having pride in my raps, and but once it's been this stigma for so long, or once you get about 30 and you still rapping, you a failure. But rapping it didn't become a viable career path or something you can do with your life until about 35 years ago. Hip hop as a culture is 50, but rapping as a career path is only about 35, man. So. And as from what we're seeing right now, the culture needs a little bit of direction, a little bit of older wisdom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And what you said, Klazik, is real because, King's 41, I'm 46. We came up in a different time of hip-hop. And obviously we're not grumpy old men. We like a lot of new artists, but we just grew up in a time in terms of where it meant for lyricism and for style and substance. You really, really had to have something that showed a level of depth in terms of the delivery and really how you articulated it. Straight up and down back in the day, you didn't rap if you didn't know how to do it. And you appreciated it for what it was in an art form as a fan, and not necessarily somebody just jumping in it because I'm trying to, like people just do it because now, especially with it being ubiquitous in world culture, we're seeing it now. People just want to kind of jump into it, especially here in the States, just to kind of, they're like, well, this is easy, we can do this, especially with social media, but nobody really, the fundamental shit that everybody seems to forget. You got to take time to get good at it.
Right.
It ain't going to come overnight.
That's right. But you got to have that passion about it you got to have that passion to be willing to do it long enough to get good.
Right. And we see too many times in this, a lot of people treat this as a fad and just for something to get a lot of attention, but you don't necessarily see the commitment to it. Also, you don't necessarily see the study of the greats that came before.
That's right.
As you said, we need the balance because, and we've talked about this on so many of our shows we've been blessed to do with so many people, about how coming up in the days we did, it was a wide range of latitude that DJs had because of the core. The DJ is the one that breaks in records. They were allowed to let the people decide rather than, because this was told to us, a lot of record companies who pay the radio stations and that dead air time of ad space to put in the song, and it's all over the place. Even if it ain't great, it gets forced into rotation.
Yeah, payola.
Payola. And see, we grew up in a time where, artists took the time to get good. The DJs were allowed to really, 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 kind of feel it out. Importantly, there was diversity. If you wanted the street shit, you got the street shit. If you wanted the party shit, you got the party shit. Hell, even if you wanted pop music shit, you got that. There was a balance. And now it's like it's just one thing. You as an artist, where do you think things changed at, and how did you navigate through all of that?
Things changed with the merger of the internet and social media and the low cost of recording equipment. It was, all that combined for the perfect storm to change just the barrier to entry. I navigated being able to do it because I really loved it and still do love it. I wouldn't have been able to stay at it if it just wasn't something I genuinely enjoyed. I don't see it as just a hustle or a quick lick to make some money like people do now, like most of the people who call themselves rappers now. So, when I got into it, just like you said, I studied the people that came before me. My immediate inspiration that made me take rap serious was Biggie, but in the studying, I realized that Big Daddy Kane is the father of my style. Every rapper that can spit, that's fly and making hits, that's Kane. Kane is the archetype. So when you look at Big, Jay, Fab, when you look at all those rappers in that vein, Kane was the first sex symbol of hip-hop, if you ask me. LL didn't enter into that until the 90s. LL was a young dude. He was getting it, but he was a young dude at Kane's time. Kane was the first,
And you got to think about it with the name itself, King Asiatic, nobody's equal. Kane.
That's right.
Kane was a dude that when we look at him coming in, we think about Smooth Operator, all the tracks he did, he really, really, he set the tone for having that edge, but conversely speaking, was accessible. Like you said, Klazik, LL didn't really kind of go into that lover boy. We could say when he did I Need Love, and I think that was awful.
Yeah, he had the lover boy, but he wasn't that sex symbol yet. That's a different energy.
Right. And he didn't really do that until, one could argue around maybe 89 when he dropped Walking with a Panther. That's kind of when he began to kind of morph into that. Of course, 1990, Mama Said Knock You Out. Shout out to Marley Marl for doing that whole production and unbelievable album. And of course, 1995 on the Mr. Smith album, it kind of came full circle for him. Looking at, because you mentioned Big as an influence and Kane as the father of your style, when you first heard Big, and for those who really understand the history and knowledge, rest in peace, Big Papa, 1992, Who's the Man soundtrack, Party and Bullshit. His first, if I believe right, credited appearance on Wax. What was that when you first heard him in terms of how he put the rhymes together, how he represented Brooklyn? What did you think when you first heard him?
It wasn't even that. It was a little bit later when I heard something he said that hit me. It was on the genesis of me as a rapper was the One More Chance remix. The line that made me a rapper. Hard throb, never black and ugly as ever. However, that line right there, because at that time, you know, I was just young, little dark skinned, quiet. You know, this was, you know, being 43 when I was a kid, crack was a new drug. It got my whole family, my whole immediate family. So I was just a quiet, nobody, you know, kid in Cleveland, you know. And when he put the words together like that and said, yeah, I'm ugly, I'm black, I'm, you know, but, you know, I'm still that dude. It's like, it just alerted me. It flipped the switch like, man, you can think like that. You can know you busted, but you can make yourself something else. And that's what made me take to him. That's what made me start to go back and study. And, you know, he was the first person I would comb through his rhymes and to make my style, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was big. It wasn't really those records. The record that really got me into him and made me believe he was a serious artist was Things Done Changed. So that told me right there he was a vivid picture painter. He was slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Big, you know, because when we look at it, for him being that entry level, of course, for those who know the history, Craig Nat was the first to release the first album on Bad Boy, rest in peace. But of course, Big, I mean, the Super Cat remix of Dolly My Baby, you know, with him and Puff on, I mean,
the total Can't You See, and then 112.
Yeah, you know,
he just had a way of presence and cadence and flow that just untouchable.
I mean, you figure from 1992 to 1995, this dude had 92 is his debut, 93 is the remix of, you know, Dolly My Baby, you know, 94 is when he drops Ready to Die, which just celebrated his 30th anniversary, and 95, what a year, arguably for hip-hop historians, one of the single greatest years ever in hip-hop music history in terms of just the releases. I mean, you got Faith debut, Cuban Links, oh my God, I mean, there are just so many albums that came out. Loonies, Operation Stackola, shout out to Numbskull and Yuckmouth. I mean, God, I mean,
95 was a crazy year.
Man, yes. And also,
we ran broke keeping up.
Yeah, we did. And also, 94, 95, you're from Cleveland, Ohio. There were 5 brothers. I think you heard of them. East 99.
Yeah.
I think you know them. Bone Thugs and Harmony. Creeping on the Come Up, 1994, the EP. Then the album dropped in 95. Rest in peace to Easy. What did that do? How did you feel about them putting on for your city at that time?
Oh, that was definitely inspirational. And I was playing that East 1999 album best constantly. But the thing about it, in that time, I purposely took the Big to rap slow because I didn't want to be another fast rapper from Cleveland.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but even though I was burning Bone up, you know, they was getting heavy play, you know, and it was definitely inspirational, man.
Being an artist, and you've done this for so long on an independent level, what do artists have to understand from a perspective, Klazik, of coming from a town where maybe hip-hop is not as prevalent, but is not bereft of talent? Cleveland was not always known as a hip-hop hotbed, although there are a lot of rappers that have come from there. Shout out to Uncle Tash and Alcoholics. He's from Ohio as well. You know, so but when you look at some of the statures like Los Angeles, you know, Oakland, Brooklyn, Harlem, Queens, Miami, Atlanta, Houston, you know, they're all staples. What do artists have to understand about coming from a place where maybe it's not necessarily recognized, but they still have the talent to shine through, but more than anything, getting people to recognize, respect, and listen to that talent?
Well, when you ask what do people have to recognize, you ask them from the artist perspective or from the consumer perspective?
Well, from the artist perspective, in terms of getting the music out there.
From the artist, you just got to be dope, because, hey, as they say, the good dope sells itself, so a quality product, as long as you come out and you have your identity established and it's quality, that's the main priority. Again, I can't give you any advice if you're just an opportunist and you a person that's jumping in trying to ride a wave, sound like what's popping. But if you're somebody that wants to figure out who you are, and once you figure that out, you stand on that, I can give you some advice on that. Because, that person that has taken time to carve their identity, that's the person that's going to be around for a while.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's definitely... when you started, when did you start getting that buzz out there when you realized, like, people were really, rocking with what you were doing? What was that like?
Man, it's crazy because when I came out here in 2017, I was 1 foot out. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know how to tap in to what they had going on. But I ended up meeting somebody that was pretty heavy in the scene and throwing a lot of events and things like that. And I started actually taking pictures because I know how to do a lot of stuff that revolves around making music. So, and then I got an opportunity to be in a cipher. And then I did the cipher, and that, gave me a second win. And it's just been up from there. And, people started responding well. And I've just been rolling, man. I started picking back up things like maybe about 2020.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of doing shows and all that, how's that been with the reception in terms of, meeting your fans, really interacting and, them really, feeling what you're doing?
Shows are going great, man. When I go out, and like I just said, I know who I am and what I do. I take it very serious. I'm a professional when I hit the stage, and I make my mark every time I hit it. And if people don't like me, they won't say it to my face, and they don't say it publicly.
Word. Now you're like you said, you know a lot of things. Go ahead, King. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, considering that you're winning awards and everything, your showmanship has got to be top notch. So therefore, nobody really saying a thing.
Yeah. You're right about that one.
Yeah, they don't just give awards to any slouches.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah,
and those awards. Those awards are hard earned, Klazik. What does when you look at how you develop your stage show and everything, what do artists have to understand about presentation and execution in terms of when they actually get out there and are doing something live?
This is easy to answer too. The funny thing about it, I got a curriculum, a 7-principle curriculum that I put together for stage presentation and crowd engagement. So you have to keep in mind of things from who you are authentically, your identity and how you dress, how you want to move on the stage. I got a personal rule, like I don't perform a song unless I practiced it at least 100 times. So I know how I'm going to move. I know, if I stumble, which happens no matter how long you've been doing it. No matter how much you know your words, sometimes you just trip up and stumble over words. If the sound goes out, I've had the DJ board die on me. Just a couple months ago, I was rapping. I spit a line and the lights went out.
Oh wow!
Right.
He powerful.
Man,
he shut it down.
Yeah, it was dope. It was dope. Now I'm telling you, the power went out, but I spit a line, and I'm telling you, it went black in there. It was fire. But but you know, you just got to stay a professional, and you have to
add on to the theatrics.
Yeah, right. You know how to engage the people, look like you belong on there, act like you know you belong up there, and, you know, be respectful, respect that crowd and command the respect, and then, you know, put on the show, have a good time.
Perfect segue, because you said also in terms of your thing about presentation, you're also a speaker as well. Tell us about that vocation that you've engaged in as well.
Yeah, aside from the speaking and teaching on stage presentation and crowd engagement, I got some curriculums that I call Design Your Life, where it helps people, you know, deal with issues and traumas that they may have in their past. As you know, as I mentioned earlier in the interview, with my family being full of addicts, you know, I've never been drunk or high in my life, you know, but been through a lot of things, and I just had to overcome a lot. So put together these master classes and curriculums to be the type of person I needed as I was figuring it all out. As you know, I may be further along if I've never had any type of mentorship. So every step I've made and every success that I've accumulated came from just me figuring it out.
And that's important. You know, me and my bro, we talk on air, we've talked off air about situations, especially with a lot of these artists. And over the past, we're already tomorrow going to be in the 11th month of 2024.
Right.
And the fuckery that we have seen over the past 10, oh my goodness. Ooh, I mean, do we really have a long enough show to talk about all the rappers and artists that have been caught up in some kind of drama? And whether personal issues or simply criminal illegality of it, I think sometimes we find in a broader scale, y'all, a lot of artists, they come in the game, because before anything, we said this before, these are people first. And when we look at elements, whether drugs, whether just behavior, maybe just anxiety or not having a full comprehension of understanding what this means, because when you start doing music at that level, this is your job. And it seems like some artists don't understand that. This is your job. You know, this is the way that you not only help yourself, you could possibly help others, but yet and still, we see a lot of times through certain things, like you said, traumas, that they sometimes don't get away from. How important is it for artists to understand the transition to becoming a professional and leaving the problems behind them?
It should be top priority, because, you know, these things that we don't deal with and we run away from, you know, it just, without us dealing with this stuff, we unknowingly recreate all the traumas, the active traumas and the wounds, you know. So it shows up in our lives, even though we're ignoring them. We still, you know, until we heal the wounds, they're actively bleeding. So that, you know, that mess shows up in every situation we're in, because we got to address that stuff. And it affects our business, because, you know, it's called the music business, but the word relationship is in parentheses. It's the music relationship business. So, you know, if you're an asshole, you're going to shut yourself out of a lot of opportunities and things of that nature. So you got to deal with this stuff, because these traumas is making you hard to work with on a social aspect.
I mean, and it's real. We look at the situation, rest in peace to DMX, because we saw him at his best and we saw him falter. We look at a situation with Lil Durk and what happened. and nobody questions Dirk's street pedigree. If you're from Chicago or you know them streets, you know Dirk was really, really about his business. But we saw with the recent turn of events that may have come back to, I mean, we got to look at it for what it is. Shit came up, and it's not looking good. We look at, those are just examples, but a lot of times we look at the music, because hip-hop has an intrinsic link with the streets because it is street culture that morphed into music, and was an expression. The music is only a part of the culture itself. It is not the culture. It is an element. But when you have the street element to it, there are going to be those elements that come along with it. And when we see so much of the game now, you being an active participant, a lot of times, a lot of these artists are looking at their street reputation to be the cachet for credibility, not knowing that a lot of times certain things you have to let go because it will eventually and inevitably take you down as well. When we look at it from a perspective of how that is, where do you think it's paramount that artists let the quality of their work speak for themselves rather than the reputation of their actions?
Well, that comes important when you're really from those environments like I am, and like a lot of us are that are in rap. There's some grace that has to be given because some of the stuff was done out of survival and just a lack of options. Mm-hmm. But then, since that's in the case where that's all you know, you got to get re-educated so that you can now pull from a different source to create. Because because that's all you know, that don't mean that's where you got to stay.
Mm-hmm. That's real. What you talked about the re-education factor, because when we've seen a lot of guys, we look at guys like Master P, and everybody talked about, how he used to roll in the streets, but P was like, once I really got into this, I knew I had to really kind of, legitimize it, just like with Jeezy, shout out to him, good friend of ours. Jeezy was like, as he moved along, he saw what was going on, and he was like, I had to, kind of make those changes along the way. And I think artists have to understand this from an end of it, is that you're looking at it from maybe the first quarter of your life, which is 25 years. You might have been in something, but the last 3 are going to dictate whether you go into that retirement tunnel after the game of understanding your victory because you survived, or you suffer a career-ending tragedy and you never play another down or quarter. And I think this is where we're seeing so much of it, because now we've seen, especially with social media, that everybody is out there trying to put out everything about their lives. You as an artist, as a father, how important is it for you to maintain being that parent, being that role model, being that artist, but also being very cautious about how much people know about your personal life?
Oh, yeah. I don't believe in giving up anything in my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Because, what I'm offering you is what I offer you now. And that's what I signed up for. I know that there's going to be people who want to know more about me, and I'm selective of that. But as far as my children and their mother, exactly where I stay, or I'm not with none of that.
Right.
You know.
Right.
They got to be a hard line because they didn't sign up for that, and people really can get out of hand.
Yeah.
And there's no telling when the audience flips.
As a late great
when
Charlie
they love
Murphy.
you, but it's miserable when they hate you.
Look like the late great Charlie Murphy when he said habitual line steppers. You know, because people then they feel like they're entitled to know more about you. And
you don't want to give them too much either.
Right.
You don't want to give them too much.
You don't want to give them nothing because they you know, I made a post about this recently. The internet is upside down land, man. Like they take the serious stuff and make a joke of it, and then they get offended and want to cancel you over obvious jokes. But you give them you put your kids online, next thing you know, they making memes and jokes, and you know, and like DDG and old girl that just had the baby, like they made a post, and next thing you know, they babies and memes and all of that.
Yeah, you know.
I'm not with none of that.
No, you know, when we look at it too, man, we're looking at it from an end of everybody wants to be known. Obviously we look at Jay and Beyonce, you know, of course with Blue Ivy because she was the first, you know, the first child. So, I mean, but there's only been a couple pictures you've seen of them other kids.
Right.
You know?
Right. Y'all jumping, man. Unless you want to get put up in the circle, you ain't get nothing.
Right.
It's the twin boy. We ain't never seen the twin boy.
I think there was one picture out there that they have of the twins, and that's it. But you don't see nothing about J and B flashing where they live. You don't see the cars. You might see occasionally an article about what they bought. You know, but other than that, you do not see nothing in terms of them posting up none of that shit, like where they live in, none of that.
Yeah.
And I think as an artist, you have to value the one thing that is priceless is your privacy. Everybody be wondering how such and such got stuck up. I'm like, well, goddamn, such and such kept putting shit out there online, and everybody knew he was heavy. That's why they ran up on him.
Right. That's how Pop Smoke died.
Then what gives me is this. They'll go out there, they'll go live, have about thousands of dollars worth of jewelry on. I'm like, come on now, we ain't in inflation.
Right.
We in recession mode right now. You know, people hungry out here, man. You think you ain't gonna get stuck out there? You sitting there with $50,000, you going live on your phone. Yeah, we outside. Okay, we'll see you. Hey, you go to your friends, you only see bread and dog food.
You got $1,000 on jewelry on, and Young Dolph died for $800.
Man, that when you look at it, and great mention, Klazik, because you know obviously. Your style of music is smooth, it's calm, it's cool, it's mature, it's grown. And obviously it's not the type of, you know, cauldron of beef in terms of your compositions. What do artists have to understand about staying away from those type of unnecessary conflicts out there like that?
Well, that's something that comes with wisdom, man, because it's not like I said, I'm from the same type of environment, man, where you come up thinking you got to prove yourself, but after a while, if you're fortunate enough to survive some stuff, you realize what battles need to be fought and what battles can be avoided. And you realize, you know, when you're young, you think you're invincible. But, you know, after you make it through some things and you get blessed with a little more life, you see you really were just lucky or blessed, whatever words you want to use, you know. And every fight ain't a fight. Every time you fought in your life wasn't really a fight. You took it there thinking you had to prove something when you could have just let it slide.
One thing about it from the street level, and us being black men especially understand this, if you've been from the block, like we've all seen it, you understand the dangers of it, because once that violence spins out, it can spin out with like a car when the tire comes off. You don't know where that shit is going to hit or where that car is going to skid to.
Yeah.
And once it gets out of control, you know, we look at the situation with Dolph and Gotti. When we look at how as crazy as unbelievable as that trial unfolded over 4 days, that was really not a situation when we look at the genesis of it. That should have never even...
Should have never got that far.
It should have never even escalated to that, because really what this was some ego. This is all it was.
Yeah.
That was ego.
Yeah, that's it.
And it got to a place where, because we're not here to lay the blame at the feet of anybody. We don't do that here.
Right.
But what it is a situation where the egos ran unchecked, and a man felt insulted by what was being said, and he had a right to say something. But when you start, you know, sometimes the thing is, because at the end of the day, people are going to gas you up to do things or retaliate or say something. You have a right to speak your piece if you've been disrespected. You have a right to say something back. And if somebody, and I've always said this, sometimes violence cannot be avoided, because that's the lesson people have to learn when they cross the line. And you have to send that message. But that is only if it's a situation where your existence is immediately threatened.
Right.
If you have to engage, you engage, because you don't let nobody do nothing to you. But by the same token,
That's
it
right.
should come to a certain point where you have to be like, all right, we gonna handle this one way or the other, and one of us is walking out of it. And guess what? It ain't gonna be you if you keep persistent. But by the same token, we look at a situation where there's fragile egos, a volatile situation, and calculated and sometimes even spontaneous acts that change lives forever. You are an award winner. You are a speaker. You are a father. You embody everything that is positive about the culture in terms of expression, in terms of responsibility, and most important, respect for the culture.
Integrity.
When you look at, yes, integrity. When you think about all the accolades you've achieved, everything that you have accomplished, tell us about some of the awards and how you were up for those nominations and how, you know, those that came about.
I just, it was a little bit of luck. You know, I got tapped in with right at the perfect time when those things started becoming established. And then I'd been active on the scene, so, you know, it's a bit of, like I said, a bit of luck mixed with intention. You know, right place, right time, and being prepared. You know, so fortunately for me, I never stopped rapping. So when the opportunity came, I could capture it, and now I was able. It's allowing me to be able to just leverage these accolades and take myself to a level that we've never seen at this in this culture. You know, we're in a unique position in history right now with what's being developed and what I'm been given the opportunity to represent right now.
Definitely. In terms of it, who would you like to work with in the industry that you haven't had a chance to?
Well, I only want to work with people that want to work with me. But, you know, as far as the dream list, Big Daddy Kane, I like Young Dro a lot. I like Fabulous a lot. Hakeem Ali on the rap side. And as far as on the smoother R&B side of things, I like October London a lot.
Yo,
like
shout out to Uncle Snoop for him, man. I mean, man.
Yeah, he's killing.
Yeah.
He's putting his focus on really pushing his Death Row brand out there. You know, this correlates into this is my next question about the business side. Like, what did you learn about dealing with the music business within itself?
Well, as far as the music business, it doesn't work the way we think it works, the way we like it to work. But, you know, that's the biggest thing I'm learning, man. It's very, we need to find a way to streamline this stuff. It's 2024, man. You know, you got to sign up for this and that and this and that just to get your publishing and your royalties. Make sure you get them all, man. We can get pictures from Mars. We got cars that drive themselves, man. Let's get this all in one place and simple.
Yeah, it's definitely something where
that's not the fun side, because what people would say that the easy part is creating. The easy part is creating the album. The hard part is reaching demographics.
Making sure you picking up that money from what you created.
Yeah.
They don't make it easy. But I think that's because they've been stealing from us. No. You know, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of like getting managing to tour and like do shows, where have been some of your best, some of the places you really enjoyed performing at?
Favorite place I've been on the music tip is Charlotte so far. I love VA because I got so many people there. I love when I go there. You know, I'm going to have a few shows in Texas next month, so I hope they treat me right, you know.
I mean, look, man. I mean, it's always I don't think there's anything more gratifying than really getting out there to really have people out there that really, really, really rock with you, and that you can perform and can appreciate the art for what it is. You know, and one thing about it, I tell people, there's nothing like that freedom to create. And I tell people, you know, we got so many critics out there, you know, but for the independent artists, you know, I tell everyone, you know, if they're good, give them a chance to listen. You know, be a cheerleader. We got enough critics. You know, let's support people rather than shut them down. And, you know, if they're good, let's let them know that we are behind them, because it takes a certain amount of, you know, cojones and a lot of self-belief and confidence to get out there and share it. And sometimes it's not always going to be well received by everybody, you know, but the main thing is to endeavor is to explore is to discover, and to discover is to say you did it. You find something in yourself that you didn't know you had, and then other people didn't know you had either. And I think that's where it keeps going, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Right.
But that's important.
Exactly. And going on, tell us about the new single and how that's doing, the Get to You song.
Get to You is, that's the latest single, and I feel like that has the potential to really change some things, so I'm going to really put in some work. It's responding well. I'm getting great, getting some spins on internet radio. I'm in discussions to move it over to commercial radio. Best response I've ever had, but it's also it marks a turn in my catalog to where when I started to offer people something a bit more entertaining, not so bar heavy. Not this is the point where I step from just being a spitter into being that more well-rounded Big Daddy Kane style of artist.
Yeah.
The Kane way, as in putting out fun records without looking corny.
Right.
Yeah, we love Kane, but we know Kane had a couple of situations over his career that really kind of, it just.
Man, I'm telling you this though, those records sound way better than some of the stuff these dudes putting out now. It's like the guys that tried to cross over, their biggest flops at that time sound way better now than the guys that put out their best stuff.
Yeah.
It's just funny how things ricochet like that.
It does. I mean, we look at some of the stuff today, and we look at how it was, even the songs we weren't crazy about coming up. I mean, we think about it. It's like, man, it's like the diva stuff.
Mainstream wise, look, check this. Pumps and the Bums is better than 90% of the radio right now.
It is.
But you know what?
And we clowned that record back then.
The dance stuff too, yeah.
But I'm gonna be real with y'all too. The song itself, if you listen to it without the video, it's a great dance song from a perspective of party. It fits that 90s aesthetic of what the sound was. I think when Hammer did the video, because that's why they had to do another one, because the first one was not well received, because we like, man, look, Hammer's a Speedos, try to be, like, that wasn't the image Hammer had, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm like, dude, it's like,
we were ready.
It's like, it looks forced. It looks forced.
Right.
And that's something that, if you want to do some eye candy for the ladies, that's fine. We ain't never going to hate on a man loving a lady. That ain't what we do here. But it's like, still for Hammer, how he came at the time, it was such a drastic, because when he did the Funky Headhunter album, obviously that was in response to where he was getting a lot of backlash in the 90s, because everybody looked at him as being the
pop rapper.
Sellout. Yeah, the pop rapper. But when you look at it, when we have a time to reassess and reevaluate and when we re-examine,
in hindsight, Hammer didn't do nothing wrong.
No, and the fact was, dude, look at how when we reappraised it at that level of a different lens, he was one of the first rappers to really get nationally commercial deals. I mean, KFC.
He was. He was the first.
He was the first.
He opened the door. Pepsi.
Yeah, I mean a cartoon. I mean the dolls. The Pepsi endorsements. I mean, this man opened up the door to where hip hop became a viable commodity for commercial presentation in terms of advertising. He was the first, and I think we really need to give him a big thank you for what he did to, I don't want to say legitimizing hip hop culture, because it's always been legit, but he showed that it could branch off to be more accessible, and it wasn't just about one demographic. It was something that at the core everybody could enjoy as entertainment. And
speaking of Hammer, he was out here a few years ago. He had some family in a college in a small town in Iowa, and he was out here a few years ago.
Okay. But he took a lot of unnecessary punishment and criticism for, but what he did, man, nonetheless, was a great contribution.
Hey, you know what? Check this out. The interview on a funny note, right? All these people was dropping diss records on Hammer. Who ran up on them?
Nobody.
No, he did the running up. Hammer did the running up.
And look. We gonna say, we close it out on these notes. He's from Oakland. People tend to forget that. That man is from Oakland. Him and his brother Lewis. Stanley and Lewis are from Oakland. Oakland ain't raising no punks. Shout out to Oakland. You all have supported off the cuff. I mean, and for those and if you want a real stories, go online and go to don't just punch up no sensationalized.
Don't go on Wikipedia. Go to the real deal.
Go to people when y'all punch up the MC Hammer Redman incident, and even Redman had to bow down. I mean, there was even a situation that we won't get into on air, but it's out there online about how there was a situation with MC Search and how Hammer and them, felt a situation of disrespect had to be resolved, and how it almost got out of hand. But fortunately, it didn't happen like that. But no, Hammer and his people out of nowhere.
He ain't the one, man.
No, he is not the one.
Not at all. But yeah, man, we about to wrap it. We about to go ahead and wrap this up, man. You have any shout outs you want to give out?
Man, shout out to all the supporters, man. Everybody here from Iowa to VA to Ohio. Everybody that's rocking with me, everybody that's spinning the latest single, Get to You, featuring DJ Luke Nasty and Tone the Boss. And shout out to Off the Cuff Radio.
We appreciate you. You're welcome back in town, Klazik. Thank you again. Thank you so much.
A big shout out to Angela for making this happen.
That's right.
So yeah, we about to tune out this note, man. We're gonna have this interview uploaded on all streaming platforms and on YouTube. Hopefully by tonight and tomorrow. Thank you once again, Klazik, for joining us, bro.
Hey, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for your time. Off the Cuff Radio, I appreciate you. Hope I'm back soon.
Absolutely. Appreciate
Already.
you. Much love to you and your family. Be safe out there. King, take us out of here.
Hey.
We're feeling the economic stress, but this isn't the first time. In the 80s, young workers organized and voted for fair wages. Then, the national fight for $15 minimum wage. And during COVID, our record voter turnout led to vital economic relief. We're a driving force for economic justice in this country. We always have been. Your vote really matters right now.
Paid for by Future Voice.